Hey, it's Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of the syndicated talk show, People of Distinction. The talk that gives you an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, alcoleenterprises.com for more info. Email me at benji@alcoleenterprises.com if you'd like to get involved with what we have going. And as always, please continue to like and follow our broadcast because People of Distinction is a nationally and internationally syndicated show because of listeners like you. Our shows are available across all major podcast distributors as well as YouTube. And if you keep following, we're going to continue to put out the content. We appreciate the support. Continue to like and follow and sit back and strap in because on the line with us today, we have the impressive Gordon M. Culley Sr. And we're going to be discussing Gordon's amazing children's book, Stories of Bobby Bunny and His Woodland Friends. That's available for purchase through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and a whole host of other online resellers. Type it into a search bar, and you're going to be greeted with all of them. But if you want to gather everything that Gordon has in store, people, you can do no better than heading directly to his personal site. And that's Gordon M. Culley Sr. Books.com. Quickly, Senior, that's the abbreviation, so srbooks.com. There you're going to gather more information on Gordon, more information on this amazing book. You're going to find hyperlinks set up to take you to the purchasing pages. Man, I'm telling you, it truly is a one-stop shop. Once again, that's Gordon M. Culley Sr. Books.com. And I quickly want to point out the fact that Gordon was brought to People of Distinction today by one of the best publishing firms in the business. People you already know, I'm talking about, of course, Studio of Books. So for my writers out there who have gone through their process creating their masterpiece, and now you need some assistance moving that book you just developed. Well, if that's you, contact Studio of Books because you guessed it, this is exactly what they specialize in. Head on over to studioofbooks.com today and gather all the ways that their fantastic team, they're going to help you do just that. And listen, it is a true pleasure to have Gordon here on the line for a number of reasons. First and foremost, people, I'm not shy about it. I've mentioned this a number of times in the past. I'm a New England boy, born and raised. Now, I've been here in Southern California for almost 2 decades. So, it's getting close to that point where I've been here longer than I've been on the East Coast. But that's neither here nor there. I don't care. I've always been a New England boy, and I always will be. And Gordon happens to be a New England man himself, just from around the corner from Massachusetts. So right then and there, it holds a particular fondness in my heart. This is like my neighbor here. We love having him. But also, people, when you start doing research on his book, my goodness, you are in for a treat. Now, at first glance, you look at it and you're like, well, Benji, this is a children's narrative. Why would I like to have a children's narrative added to my shelf? Well, I'll tell you, first and foremost, if you're a parent, this is a great book because it's going to teach your children about the importance of friendship, about the importance of acceptance, about the importance of just coming together to solve a common problem, right? To work towards a common goal. And they're going to learn all of these things in a fun and safe way. Now, for my parents out there, that right there, those 2 words, fun and safe, yeah, I got you hooked already. Now, for everybody else out there, let's say you don't have kids. Well, people, I'm telling you, we're going to dive down the rabbit hole, no pun intended with the animals involved. But we're going to dive down the rabbit hole. We're going to discuss some of the fundamental messages found in this book, and I promise you, when you read between the lines, you're going to be able to see great messages for everyone. Now, listen, that's all I'm going to say. I can be on my high horse and I can preach for hours. I'm not going to do it. It's not about me today. It's about Gordon and this amazing book. So let's bring him here with us. Gordon, first and foremost, welcome to People of Distinction. And thank you very much for being a guest. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Absolutely. Gordon, listen, it's my pleasure to have you here. What you've done is something magnificent, something very powerful to be gained. So we are thoroughly looking forward to this discussion. I know a lot of us out there, myself included, we're looking forward to reading the book, man. Now, before we go into the words on those pages, start off by telling us a little bit more about yourself and your background.
Well, Benji, in my early days in the 70s, I was a fireman back then, and then I became an EMT uh, for 15, 16 years. And once I came out to Massachusetts, I became a carpenter, and I was a carpenter for another 20 years before I got injured, and I had a traumatic brain injury.
Wow.
And it changed my life dramatically. And then one day I saw this beautiful bunny rabbit looking up at this beautiful cardinal. And I just imagined one day, and I was looking at it, and I said, what are they talking about? And they stood there, and they were looking at each other. And then I just sat there and just said, what are they working out? So that was the very beginning of what Bobby Bunny was. And I've always had this ability to be able to tell stories. I told stories to my children. At night, while we were camping in Washington State, when we were out on the ocean, just get them to relax and that. And when we came across the country, I started a story and to make them relax. And people around me, they all got intrigued by this story. So I just always enjoyed the fun of imagination. And that's where I got my love for telling stories.
Love that. Well, there you have it. Without further ado, let's jump now into the book, Gordon. Stories of Bobby Bunny and his woodland friends. Tell us a little bit more about the words on those pages.
Well, Bobby Bunny is a fun guy, and he met Charlie one day. He came out, and Charlie was hungry, and he needed to find some food. And Bobby said, "Yeah, I know where some red berries are. Jump on my back, and I'll give you a ride over to it." So Charlie did, and he liked how his fur felt on his claws and everything. And he hopped him over, and he helped him find some berries, and they became very, very, very good friends, and they helped out each other from that point on. And they talked with each other time and time again. And then he met Ginger, the gray squirrel, and she needed a home, and he needed a new home because the old snag that he was living in was becoming kind of old and decrepit. And his friend, Billy Blue Jay, told him about this new place and that they were going to have to run and go through some pretty thick forest and to get to it. And they finally got there, and they made a new home. And they had all new food and fresh water to drink. That's how Bobby Bunny and he got started, and they started working with other animals to find problems and work together. And they had a lost baby deer. They worked together to find its mom, to bring it back to Bobby's meadow to bring them together. That is how they work together. They find other animals who know where this animal is. They ask them if they need. They have a lost baby, and they say, "Oh yes, well come on, we'll take you to this baby." That's how the book got started.
When it comes to the message of unity, when it comes to the message of acceptance, I dove down the rabbit hole and made it a much larger, almost philosophical thing, right? When we're juxtaposing it against society in real life circumstances. Now, I'm curious to know, when you were creating the narrative, was that something you had in mind? Was that something that also played a part in the inspiration, or was it much more geared towards just children and the message of unity and friendship for them? Talk to us a little bit more about that fundamental message.
Every day, I look at my phone, I don't watch television anymore because it's depressing.
Yeah.
I look at my phone and I see all the violence and people pointing fingers at each other because they don't like who they are because the color of their skin or religion, other problems. The other reason I wrote Bobby Bunny and what Bobby Bunny comes to is it doesn't matter whether Bobby Bunny finds a fox or a coyote or a bear. They all work together to find an end to a solution.
Mm-hmm.
They work together to find common ground, to become lifelong friends. And if another animal in the forest has a problem, they all gather around to help that animal or bird solve that problem, and they all become lifelong friends, and they can live together as one, and they can eat as one in one meadow. And if they have to all snuggle up and because of the rain or whatever, they can all gather around and be together. And I want that message to be to the children that it's okay to accept this person, whether they're black, yellow, green, purple, or whatever gender they are. It's okay. It is okay to talk to them and be friends with them. And maybe it might rub off on our adults. And maybe while the adults are reading to them, they can go, this is a thought. Maybe when we're thinking this too hard, let's go back and let's make this simple, because it's a simple answer. Why can't we all be friends?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what Bobby Bunny. That's how he looks at things, and that's how he approaches every day, every morning. He gets up, he stretches. Where am I going to go eat breakfast? Where am I going to find a new friend today that might be in need? That's his thought every day. That's his thought, and maybe he can. That's my thing. I'm in a grocery store. I'll stop and say hello. Hey, how are you? People go, "Oh, he's talking to me? Yeah, hi, how are you?" And they say, "Hi, wow, you said something to me." Nobody ever does. I do. So that's what this is all about. Is maybe maybe open up a dialogue for adults to talk to other people. But it's for children to see it's okay to have friends, be friends with other people.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Bobby Bunny and his Woodland friends are all about. It's my imagination to fix in the world.
Well, listen, man, imagination is something that seems to be on a very short supply nowadays. So I'm right there with you. Let's utilize it. But the message of unity, the message of acceptance, I think is something that is so profound that we always want to continue to come back and re-impress. And that's why you got to head on over to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Gordon M. Culley, SeniorBooks.com. Pick up your copies of Stories of Bobby Bunny and His Woodland Friends today, because there are messages here to be gained that are true gems. Gordon, as we start to close out of here, man, my last few questions for you. I am an artist myself. I'm in a different medium, but I often see, in my opinion, I feel like the best art a lot of times mimics life in certain instances. So I'm curious here with my follow-up question. Out of this band of characters, out of these animals here that you've created and put together, I'm curious to know, if you could pick one animal in the book, which would you say represents you and why?
Maybe Bobby. Bobby Bunny would be me. I mean, I don't run away from problems.
Mm-hmm.
I don't back down. I'll be the first person to be walking towards a problem to help somebody. I'm not. If there's people running and screaming, going one way, my wife says I'll be the one going the opposite direction to find somebody to help them. That's me.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to have somebody that's going to say, "Hey, let's help each other.
Yeah.
Let's help each other." I don't care who you are. I'm going to help you. Really? Yes, really. That Bobby is me.
Well, I love it. Well, Gordon, I mean, listen, that's not a bad place to be, man. That's a beautiful thing here. Now, we know about your background. We know about this amazing book. I want to now leave our audience focusing on the future and what's upcoming. So I want to ask, Gordon, because I have my speculations, but you know what happens when you assume, so I'm not going to do that to you. This book is a perfect setup to really just be a springboard for a number of follow-ups where these cast and crew of animals embark upon different journeys and different things that they could potentially solve. So my question to you, Gordon, without giving too much away, what's next for you, man? What's on the horizon?
Well, Benji, book number 2 is just hitting the publisher's desk today. And I'll be going to the Children's Book Fair in Bologna at the end of March, and our goal is to be a grand show of Bobby Bunny and his Woodland Friends, Book 2, at that fair the end of March. So Book 2 will be out this spring and summer. And that's going to be even more excitement, more acceptance, and it's just going to be a bigger ride.
Check back in frequently, okay? Like I mentioned, the one-stop shop, GordonMCulleySeniorBooks.com. Head on over there. Stay up to date with everything. But I promise you, right now, book number 1, Stories of Bobby Bunny and His Woodland Friends, yeah, it's got more than enough to keep you occupied. So you know where to go. Embark upon this amazing journey with your kids. Let's start today to shape a better tomorrow. And books like this, yeah, man, they're the precipice to help you do just that. So you know where to go. Pick up your copies. Gordon, once again, man, thank you so much for being a guest. They're people of distinction.
Thank you very much, Benji, for having me.